Welcome to Zero to Script, where we take the easy out of coding and make it questionable. Let's get into it. In this series, I will be showing you how to make a working button simulator. First of all, we gotta ask ourselves, what even is a button simulator? A button simulator, well, you spawn in the game with some amount of cash per second, and you use that cash to buy multipliers. And shocker, those multipliers, wait for it, increment the amount of cash you get per second. Groundbreaking, right? So, what do you do next? You repeat the process by buying other buttons that cost more cash but give you even more multipliers. It's a never-ending cycle of pressing buttons, getting cash, and buying more buttons. But seriously, it's like a hamster wheel, but somehow you're hooked, okay? It's fun. Okay, I already talked too much, so let's get right into it. So first of all, you gotta get your button, obviously, and make sure that your button has 2 children. And first it's gonna be the base. This one does not matter, but then you have a group, and this group is gonna just be multiple parts that just represent the part that the player has to touch to make the purchase with the button. Pretty simple. Now that you have the button, we will not make the script for the button. Instead, we will make the stats for the player. And we can do this by just simply making a folder under service and calling it scripts, and then just add a script under that folder and call this script leaderstats. And the reason why we're gonna make the stats first before the button is because if you don't have stats, you just can't make a button that works. So the reason why we make this folder and then a script underneath it is because we want organization, okay? We want to keep this as clean as possible. If you don't keep it as clean as possible, you're very unclean. Let's just say that. Now all you need to do is just follow what I'm gonna type in. Okay, so before I explain what any of this does, you might have noticed we're creating a string value here instead of a number and int value. And the reason for that is because I'm gonna create a number abbreviator, which just abbreviates the numbers for cash, multiplier, rebirth in GUIs. And there's another reason why we're actually gonna store it in a string value, and that is because if the numbers go above the integer limit, which is about 9.2 quintillion, the numbers will reset and actually go to minus 9.2 quintillion, go back to 9.2 quintillion, and just repeat. So you can never go above 9.2 quintillion, but if you actually store it in a string value, you can go way above that, and that's why we're gonna use a string value here. Okay, now I'm gonna explain how this code works. First things first, we are grabbing some Roblox services. We're getting players so we can track who's joining and leaving, as you can see on the top here. Then we grab data store service, which is the magic tool that lets us save data for players across sessions. And we also create our own data store called player stats. You can change it to whatever you want to call it, but this is like a big old spreadsheet where we're going to store all of our player's juicy detail. That sounds very wrong, but let's move on. So when a player joins, this function runs and it gives us the player and the parameters. We create a new folder called player stats, as you can see here, inside the player. It's like a little container for all the stats so we can keep things neat and organized. Now let's move on to the actual stat making. Here, we make texture stats, and stats are things that will track how much cash a player has, what their multipliers, and how many times they're rebirthed. We store these as string value objects, and I've already explained why. And also, they all have the value 0 because, hey, nobody's getting a jump, alright? They're going to start from 0. This here is where the magic happens. We use pcall, which is a function that's basically Roblox's way of saying, let's try this, but in case it breaks, don't crash the game. We try to load the player's save data using their user ID. If that works, we set the player's cache, multiplier, and rebirth values to whatever is saved in the data store. If there is no saved data, we just leave the default value at 0. When the player leaves, we want to make sure all their stats are saved. So we grab their player stats folder, pull up the current values of cache, multiplier, and rebirth, and then we save them and put them back to the data store. Again, we use pcall here because if someone quills, we don't want the game to break. And if it works, all of the progress is saved and it's ready for the next time they join. Okay, now that we're done with the leader stats, you're gonna want to get the module script to abbreviate numbers in GUI and just put it in your service script servers. Don't worry, I will leave a link to it in the description. After you have done that, we can now work on the passive income. To do that, just put a script under the scripts folder under the service script service. Dang. Okay, just name this passive income. It does not matter how exactly you do it, but as long as you have a call passive income, it doesn't matter. Actually, for a matter of fact, it does not matter what you call it in the first place. So now just write what I'm writing. Okay, so first off, we're grabbing the player servers because, yeah, we're making a game. You need players around, obviously. And then we set a base income value. It's one because we're starting off small. Nobody's gonna hand you $1 billion startup in the first 5 minutes, okay? Don't get cocky. Alright, so here we have our glorious calculate income function. It takes the multiplier that you got and multiplies it by your base income. Easy, right? I mean, I know you all barely scraped through second grade math, but don't worry, the plus one is just there because multiplier is 0 at default, and guess what? If you multiply a number by 0, it's 0, and that's why I have the plus one here because we need it, okay? I should not be explaining this to you right now. Now, here's where things get really boring, okay? So the add passive income function kicks in. Every second it runs this loop. Yes, every second, because we don't want the player to wait a long time, nor a very short amount of time to get their money, because I should not be explaining this right now to you, okay? Also, there's a loop here because if you don't have a loop here, this is gonna run only once. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, I gotta calm down. Oh my god. Okay, so inside the loop, we grab the player's stats folder. Then we fish out their cache and multiplier. Easy, right? I mean, it's just 3 lines. What else is there to talk about? Next, we grab the player's multiplier value, and if it's non-existent or it's not a number for some reason, we default it to 0. And if you ask me, I don't know why you should not have a multiplier value, but hey, safety first, alright? Then we calculate our income by passing the multiplier value to our earlier function. So basically, you can sit there and watch your bank account grow while doing literally nothing. Sounds like a dream, right? I mean, it probably is for you. Yeah, for me as well, of course. And I realized that I'm yapping way too much for a small script like this, so I'm just gonna speech on now. So this line here, we just set the cash value to the cash value plus the income. Are you blind or why do you have to explain this to you? This is very simple to understand. Anyway, and this small function here, when a player joins, we just start this function. Yeah, uh, yeah, easy. Yeah, let's go. Okay, we were talking way too much, and now you can just go straight into the button making. Oh god. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the middle part of your button here, which is this one for me. Anyway, this here, you just add two billboard GUIs. Yeah, and call one of them multiplier GUI, and call the other hash GUI. Alright? So far, so easy. Hopefully. Okay, now this is very important. For the multiplier GUI, make sure the size is this here, and make the studs offset on the y-axis simply 2. Okay, it's very important. You have to do this. And now we're gonna do the cache GUI. Make sure the size is literally the half of what you did for the multiplier GUI, which is this. And the studs offset on the y-axis should be one. Yeah, should be 1.4. There we go. You have to do this. Like I said, you need to do this. If you don't do this, it will look very disgusting. Okay, now you're just gonna add a text label in both of them. Oh, that is not a text label. There we go. And in this one as well. Make sure the size for both of them is this. Yeah, for both of them. There we go. Make the background transparency 1 for both of them. And now just, yeah, play around with them. Oh, also one thing I forgot to say. You have to put the max distance for both of them at 35 studs. It's your choice whether you want to make it smaller or bigger, but that's what I prefer. Okay, after you're done just making it the way you want it to look, you also need to put light influence to 0 for both of them. And I'm just going to show you how I did this. So for the multiplier, these are the settings here. You can just copy them if you want to. And these are the settings for cache. I mean, there's literally nothing too much here. Okay, this is not rocket science here. The important thing here is the UI gradient for both of them. I'm just going to show you. So the UI gradient for cache here has a 90-degree rotation, and this one has 90 degrees as well. And this is how it looks. This here has the hex color this here, just put it down. And this here has this hex color, which is just 255. And the UI gradient here for the cache here has this color for the first note here. As you can see, just copy this. And the end here has this, so I'll just copy it. And if you did that the way I did, it will look like this. Okay, now that we have the billboard here done, we can now actually make it functional. Yay! Okay, so to make this functional, just put a script in the group here that has all the purchasing parts thingy. Whatever, you know what I mean. So just write what I'm gonna write here. Okay, I hope you got that. I also named the script here to processor, and now I'm just gonna very quickly explain this code. So first of all, we grab the middle of the button and up there service. Basic setup, nothing groundbreaking, okay? And here the colon exists so you don't spam the button like a maniac, and debounce makes sure the script is not having a seizure from multiple touches. Okay, so here when you touch the button, the script checks if it's already running. If so, then it's should. If it's not, then it just stops working. Yeah, And after that, this small part here, I guess, yeah, about this. Yeah, this here checks if what touch the button is actually a player, because there's no free money for objects, sorry. We don't want the base plate to get money, okay? That would just not even work. So then these 4 lines here, they find the player stats. If they don't exist, well, you got bigger problems, I guess. And after that, this small chunk here, this here, if you got at least 10 cash, you pay up and get a multiplier. If you rebirth before, you get a bigger boost. If not, enjoy your tiny gains, you peasant. Anyway, and then these last 2 lines here. These 2 lines just makes the script wait a bit so you don't break the game. And then it lets you press the button again. Okay, now that we're done with this, we know it's working because you go into the game. Let's check our money. We have 3 cash. As you can see, we cannot buy this right now. Let's just wait. As you can see, our multiplier is 0 as well, rebirth as well. But here, if you, as you can see, we have 15 cash now. Got on it, 5 cash, and now I get the extra money because we got 1 multiplier. Yeah, it's as simple as that. As you can see, it actually works as well. Yes, this is not rocket science. This is not hard. Okay, now one last thing before we stop with this part here. This looks disgusting, okay? So we don't have enough money, but yeah, we don't have enough money, but we just can't tell when we can actually buy something, okay? And that's a big problem. It does not look good, and we can now fix that by creating a script in here. Call this, actually don't call this anything yet, and create a folder under locate storage and call this remote events, and create a remote event underneath it called multiplier button event. Alright, hear me out. Listen, it's gonna be very good. Okay, so if you have done that, you can now just call the script. Oh, what the hell did I just do? Okay, so just call this check affordable, and under startup player scripts, just add a local script and call this multiplier affordable. Okay, simple, just do that for now. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? So in the check affordable script, we're gonna make our game look better. How, you might ask? Because like right now, the buttons just sit there. Life is waiting to be pressed, but we can do better, right? We're gonna make it so when a player has enough cash, the button actually changes color, letting them know it's ready to be bought. Holy crap. To do that, we'll need some good old server to client communication using remote events. That's why we created this remote event. And this clients, no, it's not called client script, it's called local script. Anyway, if you put my stupidity aside, let me explain something more. The server will constantly check if a player can afford the button, and if they can, we will tell the client to change its color. This way, instead of randomly touching the button and praying with enough cash, the game will actually show you when you can buy something. Basically, we're making it more user-friendly because, let's be honest, some players need all the help they can get, alright? Just write what I'm gonna write now. It's as simple as that. Boom, there you go, that's the script. You can't bother me to make a sped up version of me typing in the script, okay? Look, I already made a script, okay? I just don't want to type it in again, okay? I just want to get this over with, okay? This video is going like 17 minutes now. This is so annoying. Just write the script, okay? I already explained what the purpose of the script is. It's to make the game look better if they can actually buy the first button. Okay, simple, easy. Now let's move on to the local script. Boom, this here is a local script, okay? Let me explain this real quick. So, we just get the replicated storage service, and when the script tells us that the player can buy the button now, it just does this here, and these are the variables for the color. Like, if the player can't afford it, this is the color, and if they can afford it, this is the color. Now, these have like almost no differences, but when you have your button material neon, you will actually notice the big difference. Like I said, this here just makes the button have a different color. It's easy as that. If you go into the game, this is red. Let's check our money. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom, boom, boom. This is not rocket science. This is actually very easy, but you're bad because you don't notice. Okay, boom. That's it. Okay, if you want to make more buttons, guess what? Hold on, just if you want to make more buttons, of course, you just duplicate this, move it somewhere else. Call this button 2, for example. Go in here, check affordable, make this the next price, and let me just check what I actually made this. Yeah, for me, next one's gonna be 50. All right, and go in here to the billboard here, make this the next cash requirement, and in the oh my god, yes, you know what I mean. Just make this the next multiplier as well. Okay, yes, easy. Processor, go in here, change the values. This is gonna be 50, and then it's gonna be 50. This is gonna be 40. Easy. This is how you make multiple buttons. That's it. You just repeat the process. In the next video, I will be showing you how you can make the Rebirth system. That's also like very easy to make, but yeah. Okay, so very quick side note here. Okay, what the hell is going on with my camera? Okay, so the recording of this video, I kid you not, took me 3 hours. Okay, and editing, I have not even started editing, but I hope it's not gonna take that long. But please, just like and subscribe, bro. Please, please. This took me 3 hours to record, but I am not lying.